And we're back for episode 2, Familiar Like, of Insecure Season 3. Now, I have to say, y'all, I really have to say, this episode, and let me know in the comments, because I feel like I'm not the only one who was disappointed in this episode. Now, I've listened to a review of it this morning, and they didn't say the shit was boring, so I'm like, is it just me? But y'all was just so boring. Like the entire episode, I'm just like, okay, where's Molly? Like, what else is going on? Like, is this it? Is this it? Just Issa and Daniel and a little bit of Kelly? Like, this is just so boring. But apparently that's what it was. So yeah, I'm really hoping Issa Rae, not Issa D. I'm really hoping that you got 10 episodes this season, because with 8 episodes, there's no time for fillers. There's nothing to drag on. Like, it's just get to the point every episode and keep it fresh and keep it entertaining. With this, I'm just like, okay, it has to be 10 to 12 episodes for them to give us this shit, because this was boring as fuck. But let's talk about it. So the episode opens up with Issa at We Got Y'all discussing Joanne's racist ass logo. And yeah, she's just this total oblivious. It just kills me. With white liberals, they try to act like they're so down and they're so woke and they understand the plight of everything, but when it comes to the shit that they do, they don't see how, because they feel genuine and they know they're not trying to be offensive, they don't see how their action can be offensive, because it's like, oh, I wasn't trying to be, or I didn't do this with that intent, but you still did it and you're still oblivious to it. It's like, you can only acknowledge when someone is trying to be offensive. But when someone is offensive and don't know, you just can't identify it at all. Like, you can't even spot it spot it out in the lineup, which is crazy to me. But she has this racist ass logo. It's her white ass hand with these 3 black ass bodies sitting on the hand. 3 black ass bodies. And it's almost like looking at a goddamn menstrual picture. Like the darkest bodies it's like having 3 fucking pickaninnies on a goddamn white hand. And it's like, and that's the thing, like, bitch, you're a white liberal and all this kind of shit and you're not racist, but you don't even know the history. Like, you don't even know, like, the depictions of how black people were portrayed in the early 1900s and late 1800s, where they used the darkest fucking shades of black that they could find to paint us on images. I mean, to paint us on paper and canvases and shit. They used that most demeaning color that they could find, because that's how they seen all of us. So you having that is mimicking what you're oblivious to, and that's why people are finding it offensive, because you're mimicking something that was very much so racist. But of course, she's like, no, it's my hand, and I'm not trying to be racist. I'm trying to be relatable. That's why I named it We Got Y'all. And Sarah, and we still don't know what the fuck she is. If she's not Hispanic, then she's probably Asian. She's probably like Filipino or something. We don't know what the fuck she is. We may never even find out, because she's really not that important. But she's like, that's grammatically correct, and I found that insulting, because we are catering to black and brown kids with We Got Y'all, and it's grammatically correct. So it's like, what, black and brown kids can't speak grammatically correct? Is that the message that you're putting out, Joanne? That was her thing. And Ken's like, in post-Moonlight America, shouldn't we have, like, a rainbow? No, Ken, we should not. Everybody's not gay. Like, yes, there are some gay kids at these schools, yes, but everybody's not gay. We're just gonna find a better logo that's not fucking racist. If anything, they could have had kids, regular kids, not dark fucking silhouettes, on her hand. And the hand didn't even have to be white. Like, it could have been whatever. So they're all looking at Patricia's like, again, she's on her fucking phone, not giving a fuck. And I'm like, how does she still have a job at a nonprofit about giving back if she can't give a fuck? So she's like, whatever Issa thinks is probably right. Oh, and Issa's like, bitch. Oh, now y'all want me to be the black spokesperson. Now y'all want me to talk about how racist this shit is, but before y'all could really give a fuck about my opinion or how this shit was even coming off. But now when this shit is costing y'all money, now y'all want my input. And she was like, I don't give a nope, mm-mm. And then another thing, I feel like the reason why Issa declined to speak on the issue is because she really isn't trying to piss off Joanne. Like, she's probably like, Joanne don't want to hear nothing from me, because last time I came to her with these exact concerns, she told me to go figure out why I was the root of every fucking problem. So fuck her and fuck y'all. That was her mood. And I didn't blame her. And I kind of seen where she was coming from, just like at the dinner where they were talking about, well, if some people had, certain people had these issues, then those same certain people should have spoke up. And Issa's like, bitch, I don't want to be speaking up on all these things that should really just be common fucking sense. Like, people should know something is offensive when they see it. I feel like if it was something just, I feel like if all those white people saying something that was offensive to any other race, they would have called that shit out from the very beginning. But because it's black kids, they just pretend that nothing is racist. And that's kind of a reflection of how things are. Like, when shit just happens to us, it's just us being dramatic about it. But when shit happens to other races, they're like, oh no. Particularly people overseas. Oh no, that's so terrible. That is just off. My God, that is beyond offense. You know, that's how they are, period. But when it's just black kids, oh, it's not that big of a deal. They're not going to take it that way. They're not going to take it that way, Joanne. It's fine. So whatever. The next scene. Issa meets up with Kelly, and we finally see what Kelly does for a living. And I like how everybody on, well, I don't want to say well, yeah, pretty much everybody on this show does something that you don't really see on typical black television. Like, you have Issa, who works at a nonprofit. You have, she's the brokest of them all, unfortunately. Molly is a lawyer. We've seen lawyers on television before, but I guess Kelly is a creditor or something like that. She does something with credit. We see Tiffany, who's a curator. We see Lawrence last season, who worked at a tech company to make apps. Like, everybody is doing something that you don't really see blacks typically in on television, which I think is great. So shout out to Issa on that. But Kelly's like, bitch, your credit is so bad that it has its own tier. Now, I know about all of that with the credit struggle. I feel like everybody in their 20s who does not have a good job is going to have bad credit. I, for one, am one of them. But my thing is, my advice to y'all is, look, get you a credit card that you're only going to use on food. Make that your credit EBT card, okay? So that way you can track how much money you are spending on food. Get like a low balance, $250 to $300, because you really shouldn't be spending more than that on groceries, and only use it for groceries. So that's the thing that gets people. People don't know how to only use some shit, okay? Only use it for groceries. Get a secure credit card. Don't even get like a real credit card. Get you a secure credit card. Use that shit for groceries. That way, like I said, you'll be able to see how much money you spending on groceries, and you can just pay that back over time. And then to even open up a secure credit card, you have to use your own money. They're not just going to give you that. And then once you establish your credit base with just that alone, oh wait, put all your bills on auto pay. Even if you're paying like not even a minimum, you can still make that payment and then turn around and pay the minimum later on. So, but on a secure credit card, your minimum is not even going to be high whatsoever. It could probably be like $25, whatever the case may be. But put all your credit cards on auto pay. Then when you establish yourself enough to get a real credit card, this is what you do. You cancel your secure. Well, no, you can't even cancel a secure. You just pay that off. Just pay it off. Keep that balance fully at $300. And then when you go apply for a credit card, do not accept the very first credit card that they send you, because they're going to send you a lot, bitch. They're going to be throwing that shit at you the way a SpongeBob was throwing all those SpongeBob was throwing them goddamn snowballs at Patrick's mouth, bitch. They're just going to be flinging them bitches at you. Wait until you see a credit card. Not by Credit One. particularly by Citi. If Citi, CITR, offers you a motherfucking credit card where you get 2% cash back, take that. Only use credit cards that give you cash back. Do not accept no basic ass credit card that really doesn't offer you shit. Do not do it. Trust me. If they send you a Citi credit card, get that one, use that one. And still, just be careful. Just be like, look, just use it for one. Don't use it for no huge ass purchase. Pay your huge ass purchases in cash, okay? So then if you don't have cash, you use that credit for the little things that you do need, like food, toiletries, whatever you need around the necessities, whatever you need around the house, okay? Do that. Take that advice from me to you, because I have been there and I am fighting my way up out of that shit to having a better credit score. Now back to the episode. So yeah, she's meeting with Kelly, and Kelly's like, bitch, your credit score is so low that you are now in your own fucking tier, okay, bitch? You are not in excellent, you are not in good, you are not in poor, you are not even in bad. You are in Issa. And she's like, damn, Kelly. And she's like, yeah, bitch, you should have been like, bitch, what were you doing? But I feel like a lot of people her age, I'm like, Issa's 30 on the show, so she probably incurred a lot of that debt from college, okay? Got a job that didn't pay much. And then not only that, but she also had to take care of Lawrence's broke ass, who wanted to be mad that she cheated on him after he was out of a job for 2 years. You know, she had to take care of his ass. So, you know, she got into some credit card debt. You know, life happens, especially when if you don't have the discipline, if you do not have a good job. That's just how it happens. So she's like, well, what can I do? Because I've been saving and I really want to get out of, y'all looking at me in the dark, that's because the only light is coming from my TV. But I really want to get out of, what's his name, Daniel's house. And she's like, bitch, you're not going to even be able to do that. Your broke ass is going to have to stay there. You're going to have to mooch for as long as you can mooch until he tells you cannot mooch anymore. And she's like, bitch, and since we on the topic of Daniel, how are you just staying there without not paying any bills? Are you cooking? Are you cleaning? Are you, like, bitch, are you sucking it? Are you touching it? Are you fucking it? Like, what are you doing? And Issa's literally like, bitch, I'm not doing anything but sleeping on a hard-ass leather couch, killing my goddamn back. So much I have to do these little chiropractor exercises when I'm at work. And she's like, well, bitch, look, whatever you do, keep doing it, because you cannot afford to live on your own. And y'all already know how I felt about the first episode. Like, bitch, if I was Issa, I would have quit. We got y'all and would have just lifted full time, okay? I don't know why she doesn't want to do that, but that's neither here nor there. So after she leaves Kelly's, she goes home to Daniel. She goes home to Daniel's, and she starts cleaning. While she's cleaning, Daniel is at Vanessa's crib. And we seen how much Vanessa does not give a fuck about Daniel. Clearly, she must be fetishizing his black ass. She's like, oh, he's black as fuck. He got some mandingo. He knows how to fuck. So I'm just about to be fucking him while I'm doing whatever. And then when the orgasm is over, bitch, so is this. You got to go. And she's like, when they was in the bed, she was like, damn, you've been at my crib 3 nights in a row. Like, you ain't got no other bitches that you fucking? And he's like, he don't even know how to take that shit. He like, I'm trying to give my homegirl some space. And she like, bitch, well, give me some too. She like, give me some too. I don't need all of this. I don't need you here 3 nights. She said that, but she still accepted his ass 3 nights in a row. Okay, after the second night, she still took his ass for a third night. So clearly, she didn't want that much motherfucking space. But what she did want is for him not to be there when it's all over. Like Beyonce said, when it's all over, please get up and leave. Question. So he's telling her all this shit that she don't give a fuck about. She gets up out of the bed like, okay, he's not getting these cues. Let me go over to my desk and start looking at some shit I actually do care about. He's trying to tell her about, he's trying to go see Spider, and he's going to this club, and she's like, that club's so motherfucking raggedy. It's so niggerish. It's a bunch of Negroes up in there acting like a bunch of niggas, and I would never be caught dead in that club, which didn't make sense, because one minute she was like, oh, the club will put you to sleep. Then secondly, she's like, oh, it's too thuggish in there. Well, bitch, what is it? It's either there's no action or it's full of action, so what are you talking about? But like, she checked out on that conversation that she wasn't even trying to make sense at that point. And in the middle of him talking to her about the artist that he's trying to work with, she's like, "Oh my God, Lonzo Ball and Alexandra Ship, both wearing V-Long. Oh, I love light skin love." And he like, "Oh, so you just fucking with me because I got good dick? Like, clearly we never gonna be a thing because." And she not even light skinned at that. That bitch brown skin, like a smooth caramel cutie. Okay, so I don't know why but that's how they be. They be fetishizing or romanticizing a love that they can never have because they don't even meet the criteria they damn selves. So she's just kind of settling for Daniel, but not really because she just fucking him. So he's like, yeah, I'm through with this bitch. Because before, he was like, okay, I can't really have Issa in my spot because there's Vanessa. But after that, he was like, okay, well, I can definitely have Issa around as long as I want because this probably gonna be the last time, if not the last time, I see this weak bitch. So he leaves. Issa's at home cleaning and shit. And it's like, man, as I'm looking at her do the dishes, I'm like, I have not done the dishes in so long. Like, manually sat at the goddamn sink with hot ass water, burning you up, you sweating, touching food that's in the sink because somebody ain't fucking, they definitely ain't washed their dish out, but they definitely didn't scrape the goddamn plate into the fucking garbage before they put the plate in the sink. So you touching that, and I'm easily grossed out by shit like that, especially when it's wet. And then just standing there washing dishes for almost an hour, 30 minutes to an hour. I don't miss it. The last time, we started moving into places that had dishwashers. So it was like, thank you, I ain't got it. Still can be a little gross, but not as gross because I am putting this shit in the dishwasher. And whatever gross is going to be washed away, okay? Whatever that shit is dispensed is going to be gone by the time I'm finished washing these motherfucking dishes. So just seeing her just brought back so many memories. Growing up having to fucking wash dishes and fighting with my older brother who did not want to wash dishes, would call himself trying to make me do it or snitch on me and say I didn't wash dishes on his day, okay? Then having a dumbass mom, yes, she was dumb, who would believe him knowing he was a fucking liar, okay? So, she's in there, she's cleaning, she sees the spider and shit. And when I tell y'all, I fucking hate bugs. And people are like, oh, why are you scared of a bug? You 10 times bigger than the bug. The bug most. I don't give a fuck if the bitch is more scared of me than scared of it. Scared people do shit that they don't mean to fucking do. So that bitch can easily attack me out of fear and panic and killed my ass. They try to make it seem like bugs ain't deadly in their own right. I don't give a fuck about none of that. I hate bugs. I love spiders. I love reading about them. I love watching them on YouTube kill shit. I don't like them in my presence. I most certainly do not. Especially if I can see your shadow. If I can see your shadow, your ass is too big for me. So she's cleaning and Daniel comes home and he pissed because Seven's hoe ass, whom I closed caption spell it with a 5, they spell it with the number 5, EVEN. I'm like, okay. And then every time I heard this bitch's name, I thought of Seven Streeter. I don't know why. I was just waiting for her chocolate ass to pop up somewhere in this episode. But anyway, so she talks to him and he's pissed about Seven being a flake and how Seven really isn't gonna land Spider. And he's supposed to be at the club tonight. We were supposed to go, but he's not going. And I don't know what I'm gonna do. And Issa's like, well, nigga, why can't you just go? And he's like, shit never goes well in the club, East, and I don't want to be doing it by myself. And she's like, man, you better man up. You better go handle up on yours. You can't be dependent on other motherfuckers to bring you opportunities. You gotta go get and make your opportunities. And she like, well, bitch, if you don't want to go, I'll go with you. So he's like, okay, let's go. They get dressed all up in their Sundays best, they Saturdays best and shit. And they roll up into the lawn and girl, they get stopped by the VIP. And Issa's like, well, handle up on that. And he's like, Daniel King. And he's like, nah, bro, you ain't on the list. And she's like, well, bitch, tell him your producer name. And he's like, Daniel King. And he's like, nah. And that would have been like so embarrassing. I can tell that's like when Daniel's ego was just getting shot with a motherfucking AK-47 all throughout the night. because when Khalil had rolled up and Issa was like all cool with him, if you just look at Daniel's face, Daniel's like, man, I'm supposed to be the man. She's with me and she's going up for him and she not going up for me. And Issa's like, well, bitch, get us in the club. He get them in the club and he was like, I'm supposed to be getting us in the club, and that ain't happened. So whatever the case, they get into the club, and Issa's like at the fucking Issa's trying to compensate for being a broke ass bitch, so she's like, let me get you a drink. What do you want? He's like, nah, bitch, you broke, you can't be giving me no drink. And she like, man, stop playing. What drink do you want? So she go over there and he like, bitch, make sure your card don't decline. And she turns around and look at him like, why would you bust me out like that in front of all these people? That ain't even funny. It ain't funny. But she goes over there and she's immediately accosted by this bitch with some nasty ass braces. And I just feel like, bitch, after a certain age, after a certain age, I mean, I don't even want to say that. Because it's like, but it's like, and then his teeth just look like so nasty. It look like when he smiled for her, it looked like he had a film on his teeth. I'm like, no. But anyway, so they go. She goes to get a drink, and while she's getting a drink, being accosted by that bitch, Daniel is approached by two girls who like, ooh, is this Seven's weed man? And throughout the night, you clearly see how Daniel is talked about by Seven in these streets when he's not around. But he's like, nah, I don't do that weed shit no more. And they just immediately walk off, and he like, well, fuck y'all. And then he takes a look at Issa, who looked at him talking to them girls. He takes a look at Issa talking to homeboy as if she over there flirting with him. Like, nah, you know how it is when pretty girls go to the club looking good. They go to the bar, dudes immediately gonna try to buy them a goddamn drink. And Issa finesses him to buy her a drink for her and Daniel. I'm like, Issa, that's the way you fucking do it. So that way she didn't have to worry about her card wasn't gonna get declined anyway because it went on somebody else's. And that's crazy. Like, she was able to get the drinks and walk away and not have to worry about homeboy with the braces coming after her like, hey, I brought you them drinks. Let's go hit this bathroom real quick. She didn't have to worry about that at all, because after she got them drinks, she disappeared for the rest of the night. And they were able to talk, and Spider was on stage doing his set, and Daniel's like, see, what he fucking up is I can make his instrumentation more complex. So he starts beatboxing in Issa's ear, and I'm imagining how irritating that could be, just have somebody just beatboxing in your ear, like, you just cringing and shaking on every beat, like, But it did sound dope though, but just not in my ear. You could have did that for me when we were at home, and you didn't have to worry about volume because I can easily hear you when it's quiet. But after he gets off the set, they go talk to him, and Khalil just pops up out of nowhere, cock blocking. And Issa's like, well, shit, let me cock block his cock block by coming over here to talk about his son. Which was brilliant on Issa's end to even remember. I mean, Issa's normally awkward and retarded as fuck, but she was just so quick on her feet when she was like, oh, I heard you got a son, can I see him? And him being, surprisingly, him being a great dad and not a deadbeat, he's like, oh yeah, he 4, let me show you these pictures real quick. And that gives Daniel the opportunity to wrap up with Spider and let him know, like, yo, I work with Seven. And he like, the tall nigga? Clearly, Seven don't even really know Spider. So not only does nobody really know Spider out here in these streets, not only do they not know Daniel, they don't even really know Spider. What the fuck does Spider do? Because he's not a producer. What is he, like an A&R where he just brings the artists to the producers and they produce for him? Whatever he does, he ain't got no clout behind it. So Daniel needs to deassociate himself from that bitch immediately because he's fucking up his name and his own name out here. He got bitches thinking Daniel's still the weed man when he not the weed man no more. He's the fucking producer. So with that said, he was like, yeah, I did a couple tracks, and he's like, oh yeah, I heard him. So Spider is not impressed with Daniel at all, which was another shot to his pride and his ego. And after the fact, Khalil's like, he was talking to Daniel. He suggested that they get together and collaborate. And Daniel's like, nah, he's trying to strike out on his own. Well, he's like, no, he said that he wanted to work with Spider. And Daniel's just like, no, I don't want you to work with, I don't want Spider to work with anybody else but me. But I'm like, the bitch's rap name is Spider. Like, how far is he really going to go? I don't want to listen to a fucking mixtape by a goddamn arachnid. But be that as it may, you know, Spider's like, he's looking up into the balcony. Thank God that Issa and Daniel got the fuck from up there because the motherfucker started shooting. So Daniel tackles Issa to the ground, covers her. Everybody falls, and then all of a sudden they started running out. And shout out to the girl who's like falling down the steps, like, my titty, like, bitch, what? Who thinks to say that while a motherfucker, what? But anyway, so Daniel and Issa go out to this motherfucking, I don't know if it was swingers or what, but Daniel's just tripping. He's just like, man, Khalil got famous, I got good. I'm the one who taught that bitch how to be him. I taught that bitch how to do him, and he got more clout than I do out here. Like, yeah, because you fucking around with Seven's whole ass. Seven spelt with the letter 5. Like, you didn't see the problem there? You didn't see how that could be a detriment to you? But he is just going through it. And Issa, the whole time, this entire night, has been super encouraging and telling him to strike out and to do his thing. She's just like, look, these the opportunities aren't going to create themselves. You have to go out there and go for them. And he was really receptive to all her encouragement. So when they got home, she was like, look, you got some shit going on. Let me see it. Let me hear it. Because clearly he needs that right now. Like, the night didn't go as planned. And he needs somebody who's going to be on his side to help to uplift him out of this depressing little stage. She's almost going into becoming a Lawrence. And Issa's like, oh, hell no. I done dealt with that shit for 2 years. Dealt with it for 2 years where the motherfucker was unemployed for 2 years. And I need you to be financially stable so I don't have to be trying to enroll in the homeless shelter down the street, bitch. Get it the fuck together. So she goes over there to go sit with him and start hyping him up with the music that he's playing. And that was the end of the episode. Like I said, y'all, it was boring as fuck. I literally have it playing in the background. That's why the lights is going high and then low and then high and then black and shit. It was boring as fuck. I hated it. But that's this review. Hopefully the third episode is hidden for some shit. I can't even... And I think this is the first time in Insecure history where Molly was not featured and she's like the second protagonist of the show. Like, how is that possible? We didn't see no show within the show this episode. This episode was just weak as fuck. And hopefully there aren't any more to come, y'all. But that's my review for season 3 of Insecure's episode 2, Familiar Like. So I hope y'all like this. Hit that like button, hit the share button. Y'all comment, let me know y'all thoughts if I missed anything. Also, I'll be accepting viewer questions. So if there's anything you want a fair and objective opinion on what's going on with you, and you don't mind if I read it at the end of any video, go ahead and submit your questions to AskTheMaverickQuestions@gmail.com. I will leave the link in the description box. Thank you all so much for watching. Y'all just roll with the Maverick. Peace.